Hi everyone, I'm Kana and I just finished week 4 of Code Platoon Software Bootcamp. There are 11 more weeks to go, and today I'd like to talk to you about what we learned this week, why this week kicked my butt, and a little bit about the guest lecturers we have at Code Platoon. So this week we learned HTML, CSS, and how JavaScript interacts with them. HTML and CSS essentially make the web pages look the way they do, both the structure as well as the coloring and the fonts. And JavaScript makes it so you can interact with them. Like you can push buttons or you can enter input into the little bars. Now, we also started our career prep series. So we talked about LinkedIn and we started putting a few things in. We had a behavioral question as well as practiced a tech interview question. So that will help us when we go to look for jobs. I find it ironic that I talked about being a newbie last week because I was very much the newbie this week. I had watched a 1-hour YouTube video about HTML and CSS prior to the bootcamp beginning, and I thought that this would be an easy week. Like maybe I could get some extra catch up on things outside of studying. But what I discovered is while there's not as much problem solving, there is significantly more volume to start. Like with JavaScript and Python, if you learn a few loops, you learn how to assign a variable and you know how to print something out to a console, you can write basic programs. But you need more hard knowledge to start something in HTML and CSS, or at least I felt like I did. And so this week was tough because I wasn't expecting the amount of learning or the amount of work that was involved and the amount of time I had to spend doing it all. So this week very much, I just had to put my head down and walk as fast as I could and hope that I would get to where I'm going. Just trust the process that has been set in place and follow along. And finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about the guest lecturers we have at Code Platoon. I've mentioned that we've had some guest lectures before, but I find that they really fall into about 3 categories. One is our Beyond Tech series, where we talk about things like diversity and inclusion and finance and job search skills. The second category is technical. So the database lecture that we are going to have, as well as data structure lecture we had, and advanced CSS, so people that sort of specialize in a specific area. And finally, we have guest lecturers come in and talk to us about things like mental health resources or teamwork. And we just had the teamwork guest lecturer come this week, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I thought that with all the military teamwork talks and readings and trainings I've been in, it would be more of a review of what I had learned. But it ended up being very interesting. It was obvious that this person is very interested in the topic and has done a lot of research and has a lot of knowledge in the field. She also has practical knowledge though, so it wasn't a theoretical, there was some theory within the talk, but there was also very practical information because she has worked with teams and has seen a variety of different teams and how they're structured and what works and what makes a high-performing team. So that was a really pleasant surprise. But I find that I'm really enjoying the guest lecture series. I learn a lot and it is interesting to see various perspectives. That's all I have for this week. Next week I will not be doing a video because we have an assessment over the weekend. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening. Bye.